You're listening to the Chronicles of Roosevelt Franklin podcast.
Because I know y'all don't like to read. Someone I know once sneaked into the Universe Soul Circus. Being sold out, he was unable to purchase a ticket to sit with his family. So he found a large group of people that were entering, and he simply slipped in with them. This is pretty much my strategy for getting into heaven, but more on that later. When I was in college, a long time ago, I took an ass load of religious studies classes. Having switched my major to graphic design, it afforded me the opportunity to have virtually a second college career. So I sauntered up to the armory during registration, waited in line for several hours before ordering. May I please have the ass load size of religious studies classes? I studied the usual suspects: Christianity, Judaism, Islam, in addition to Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Zoroastrianism, Taoism, and all the other isms that come standard with the ass load size. It even came with a nifty, bobble-headed Jesus. After studying the histories of these different faiths and comparing and contrasting their differing philosophies, I came up with one succinct statement that distills every religion down to its core. Don't be an asshole. For example, the Ten Commandments can be summed up thusly: Thou shalt not kill. Don't be an asshole. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's property. Don't be an asshole. Thou shalt not do 8 other really bad things. Assholes. The Buddha tells of the eightfold path to enlightenment: right views, right aspiration, right speech, right action, right means of livelihood, right effort, right awareness, and right concentration. Or, as Franklinism teaches, don't be an asshole. Hinduism describes a cycle of rebirth called samsara, in which enlightened souls escape the torturous cycle to nirvana, while assholes are doomed to repeat it, each time returning to Earth as a lesser life form until eventually they come back as a rock. At which point I imagine it will be difficult to escape. That is, unless you happen to be hurled randomly at some menacing Goliath. Taoism speaks of the Tao, or the way. Franklinism refers to it as the way of the guy who happens to not be an asshole. And there's an entire book called the Tao Te Ching, containing parables and sayings, comparing what a wise person does to what an asshole does. You get my point. Which is exactly why I'm not going to make it into heaven. First of all, I'm pretty sure that the Creator, whatever you perceive him to be, bobble-headed or not, would not take too kindly to someone like me winnowing down these divine teachings that have survived for thousands of years. Teachings that compel the devoted to cast off their worldly possessions and enter the forest clothed in only a loincloth, where they sit and ruminate over these wise words for years, and emerge from the wild, untamed forest to perform amazing miracles, like picking up huge boulders with their penises. Teachings that I've managed to cull down to one pithy little phrase with the word asshole in it. And I'm pretty sure that's bad. Secondly, and most importantly, the reason I'm not going to make it into heaven is because I am an asshole. And as a rule, my ilk do not get into heaven. Even if most people do not perceive me as an asshole, no, then I am indeed one. If not a full-on asshole, then I am an asshole in reform. Given any particular situation, my first reaction is to follow the way of the asshole. It takes me a few minutes to think of alternative ways of behavior, for they are indeed foreign to me. Thirdly, People who are not assholes don't have to concoct schemes to get into heaven. Anyway, this is how I came up with my current game plan for a backstage pass into heaven. It mirrors the whole get into circus free strategy. I simply surround myself with really good people who I know are a shoo into heaven and pretty much have a prepaid first class ticket. My wife, for example. For the most part, she's an extremely fair and just individual. Moreover, because she puts up with me, she's on the Heaven Express. She says she stays married to me because she plans on using the extra juice to get our children in, our grandchildren in, our great-grandchildren in, our great-great-grandchildren in, dirt, snot, hobbits, unicorns. And when I object, saying, now hold on now, some of those are inanimate objects and a couple of those don't even exist, she looks at me as if to say, such is the magnitude of your assholiness. Other people who are a shoo-in include my wife's late mother and my late grandmother. They are on what I like to call my good folks list. There are several actual living people who are on this list. Some of these people are probably listening to this right now, but I refrain from noting them here, lest the people who don't make the list stop me on the street and say, hey, I'm good. Why come I'm not on that list? To which I would be forced to respond, although you believe you are one of the good folks, you have a 5th degree black belt in asshole. And secondly, why come is not a word. Like I said, my plan is to simply slip in with the crowd of good folks, or at the very least have them vouch for me at the door. I realize this isn't a perfect plan, so if this doesn't work, y'all pray for me. For more exciting dope freshness, check us out on the interwebs at franklinchronicles.com.